Hello, everybody, and I would like to thank my wonderful subscribers.
Hello, everybody, and today we are doing. Wait 1 minute. And today we are going to be finishing Mr. Nightmare 3 Very Scary 2 New Year's Eve Horror Stories. This one is by Randy, and yeah, let's just get into it right now. What will happen? I don't know. Story 3 by Randy.
This story is one of my dad's.
Okay.
Before he had kids,
Wow.
my dad and my mom used to travel a lot. He had made some smart business moves in his mid-20s, so he had money to spend and the free time to spend it.
Okay.
They were both big skiers, but the only good skiing that was accessible to New York City was in Vermont.
Yeah.
So over the years, they actually purchased a few lodges up there.
Wow, houses?
The first one was in Ludlow. They
Ludlow.
bought it from some guy named Mr. Black who lived on West End
What a
Avenue in
name.
the city. It was this old black shuttered place that my dad always referred to as the Black House, partly because of the shutters
And the
partly
dog's
because
name.
of the previous owner's last name.
Well, ain't that a funny little coincidence? I was about to connect the last name to the color of the house's shutters.
They'd sell quarter shares to friends and cycle things out every few months to help cover the costs.
Okay.
They kept the place for a few years before eventually switching to a second property.
Okay.
The second lodge was about halfway between Ludlow and Rutland, right along Route 100 in what locals called the Lake District.
Yeah.
There are like 5 lakes in a row along that stretch of road.
Wow.
And the house sat right on the edge of one of them. My dad's friend Victor and his wife Lisa went in on that one with them.
Yeah.
Victor and my dad had been close since college.
Okay.
And the 4 of them would
Nice.
take trips up there together pretty regularly. This happened one New Year's Eve.
Ooh.
I can't remember exactly what.
You don't get a lot of stories where, like, it's a kid. You don't get a lot of stories where the person who wrote the story isn't the person who lived through it. Because, you know, why tell a story you don't know personally? So, yeah, it's kind of interesting how, like, we have these, oh, I heard it from a family member stories.
What year, but it was obviously before I was born.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa and my mom were away for a friend's wedding or something.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really remember the specifics, but it's not that important.
Yeah,
What matters is that Victor and my dad decided to take a trip up to Vermont by themselves to ring in the new year.
Nice.
It was the night of December 31st.
Shouldn't him and his wife be together for the new year?
The 2 of them were upstairs cracking a few beers and just catching up. The upstairs of that lodge had these full-length windows that looked out over the lake. So they'd sit up there, listen to music, and watch the snow.
Yeah.
It was snowing, of course, but not so heavily that you felt trapped.
Yeah.
My dad said it was really peaceful that night. One of those nights you share with a good friend, where you're both just happy to be far away from everything.
Aww.
They had the radio on, waiting to hear the countdown from Times Square. Ooh. And then all of a sudden, things got crazy.
What?
They were mid-conversation when a huge flash of light came from somewhere across the lake.
Shit.
My dad said his first thought was fireworks.
Maybe, yeah, that's a good idea.
The flash didn't come from the sky. It came from the ground up.
No.
There was no sound.
Okay.
Just the silent, blinding light.
A flashlight?
Victor stood up and walked over to the window.
Good
idea.
Something
out across the lake. My dad asked what he was looking at.
Across the lake is far away.
He saw something moving out there. It was dark, obviously.
Yeah.
But there was enough visibility from the snow on the frozen lake that you could see if you concentrated.
Good.
So after a few seconds, Victor becomes convinced that there's a person out there.
Okay.
My dad told him that was impossible.
Why?
There were no houses on that side of the lake.
Then you mean there aren't
trails,
people?
No roads, no anything. It was just pure woods on the other side of the lake. But Victor wasn't having it.
Yeah.
He started throwing on his coat and boots, saying he was going to take a look.
Why?
My dad tried to talk him out of it, but Victor was already halfway down the stairs. My dad grabbed his jacket and followed. The 2 of them burst out onto the back deck, and that's when they heard a voice. A young voice.
Oh.
It sounded like a little boy yelling help over and over again. My dad said
Did
it
it
was
sound the
faint at
same?
first, but unmistakable. There was definitely a child screaming for help somewhere out in that frozen lake.
No.
It had been well below freezing for months.
Yeah.
So the lake was completely solid. No question about it. My dad said they didn't even think twice. They just started walking across.
Good men, I
As they got
guess.
closer, they could make out a figure standing on the ice.
Was it
maybe
child?
20 or 30 yards off
Was
the
it
far
child
bank.
size?
It was small. A kid, for sure.
Okay.
My dad said he could see the shape of him against the snow. But then there was another flash.
What?
My dad said it was so bright he had to shield his face and drop to his knees.
Oh my.
He couldn't see
That's
anything for a few
that's
seconds.
not
Then when he finally opened his eyes,
that's not blight. That's blinding.
he couldn't see anything for a few seconds. Then when he finally opened his eyes and looked up, the kid was just gone. There was nothing out there but empty ice and snow. My dad said that's when he and Victor went from curious to terrified.
Yeah.
They turned around and started racing back toward the house.
Dang, you're not the
My
with a
dad said he
kid?
was running as fast as he could without slipping. Victor
How
was
fast
a few
is
steps
that?
ahead of him when he suddenly yelled and pointed up at the house.
What?
He was saying there was someone in the window.
What?
But not an adult.
A
little
kid?
boy. My dad looked up, but didn't see anything besides the dark glass reflecting the snow. Victor swore up and down that he saw a kid standing right there, looking
I
down
believe
at them.
him.
My dad didn't know what to say. He just wanted to get inside. They made it back to the house and searched the whole place. Every room, every closet, every corner. But there was no one there. The doors were...
I never know how much to trust the words when they say, oh, we searched everywhere. Because sometimes they're telling the truth. They really did search everywhere, as close as they could. But yet, other times, yet, it turns out, oh, they were hiding under a pile of clothes, or they were hiding in a box, or yet, they were in the back of the closet or something. So I never know how much to believe the I searched everywhere.
All locked, and the windows were shut. There was no sign that anyone had been inside. They decided to call it a night after that. My
Good.
dad said neither of them really wanted to talk about what happened.
Well,
They
yeah.
just went to their rooms and tried to sleep.
Did you lock
Neither
the
of them had
door?
even noticed midnight come and go. My dad
Wow.
woke up twice that night. Both times, he swore he heard a child laughing somewhere in the
Oh
house.
no, not
He lay there in
laughing.
the dark,
Dude.
listening, but it always stopped before he could figure out where it was coming from.
Ooh,
The thing that freaked him out the most
What?
wasn't the kid on the lake or the figure in the snow.
the kid in the
It was
house.
the light. That bright, blinding flash that came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
He said he and Victor talked about it for years afterward,
The
trying to
light?
come up with some kind of explanation. Lightning, a flare, fireworks from some distant town, but nothing made sense. There was simply no source. It just happened twice, and then it was over.
Okay.
They ended up cutting the trip short. My dad said they never talked about that night with my mom or Lisa. Not until years afterward, at least.
Wow.
My dad still doesn't know what
I
happened
would
out
not
there.
keep it in.
He's told me this story maybe 3 or 4 times over the years, and every time he gets to the part about the light, he just kind of trails off. I asked him once if he thought it was something supernatural,
No.
and he just shrugged and said he didn't know what else it could have been.
I mean, like, there's no reason to believe it's supernatural. I think this story can easily be explained as not supernatural. Yeah, I mean, a really bright light. Yeah. Well, that could just be a really powerful flashlight. Yeah, you know, you're probably thinking about the really tiny red ones that are, like, used by security guards. But, like, when you get down to it, flashlights can be powerful as fuck. Like, if they're big enough, like, they can get massive, okay? So, like, they can get bright, especially in the dark, when, like, it's really dark outside. Those times of, like, really bright lights, I think they can be incapacitating if you're not expecting them. So, no, I could totally see you getting blinded by, like, a really bright light that isn't supernatural. As for the kid, well, you said that the boy on the lake just disappeared? Well, yeah, that's because of the bright light, right? if you see a bright light and then it turns off immediately afterwards, the kid disappearing, he probably didn't disappear. He probably just hid himself, like, you know, on the ground of the ice. Like, 1 minute you see a person standing up, then the next minute a flash of light, then the guy just lays down as flat as he can, and boom, you can't even see him. Or like, depending on how fast the kid is, he could have hid behind a tree or something. As for the kid in the house, well, it could be the same kid, or it could be a new kid. I'm going with 2 kids. These don't even have to be kids, by the way. These people could be midgets, or like just pretty short. Like, people can get short. Obviously, they don't have to be twins, but like, just like 2 kids, or 2 like tiny adult men or women. One outside, one who got inside. Probably when you died, we're going to help the kid. So yeah, you looked around the house, but like, I don't know how careful you guys looked. If it was a tiny person, then like, he might have hid in a washing machine, in the dryer, in a pantry, under a cupboard, behind the couch. Tiny people have a lot more hiding places than normal-sized people. You need to learn that. But yeah. I don't believe in the supernatural because science is too massive to just not explain everything, okay? So yeah. That is all I have to say about this video. And I hope to see you guys next time for another Mr. Nightmare reaction. Bye!